Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as Decatur City Manager, and every week you can click on or link to this little video that gives you a little bit more insight and information about what's going on at your city government. So in November every year, the city staff and the city council are actively engaged in putting together their spending blueprint for the new year. We call it a budget. The City of Decatur's budget year, its financial year, runs from January 1st to December 31. So under the law, we are required to have a balanced budget approved and adopted by the City Council before the beginning of that new fiscal year. So the final document will be approved by the City Council sometime in December. Of course, our staff has been working on the budget for many months. We actually started towards the end of the summer to put together what's called the City Manager's recommended budget that we take to the City Council. And during the first 2 Mondays in November, the City Council had extended what we call budget study sessions, where they went through each department, each section, each division, each fund of the City of Decatur's regular budget and made comments. They can make changes if they wish. The City Manager's recommended budget is simply a starting point for where the City Council goes. You can look at that budget, the proposed budget, on the city's website. In addition to all the different spending categories and revenue categories, that document that's available on the website also includes the City Council's strategic goals and objectives. And certainly that's a document that is used a lot in putting together the budget, because we want to make sure that that spending document is one that advances the Mayor and City Council's strategic objectives to the greatest extent that we can. So in quick summary, I'll say that the proposed budget for fiscal year 2023 includes spending around $10 million on the city's streets. That doesn't include the work that the state is doing on state routes. It includes a significant investment of money into rehabilitation of our neighborhoods. That includes demolition. It includes all these rehab contracts that we're doing with outside vendors and lots of other programs intended to really move the needle on how some of the neighborhoods in our urban core look. But there's also a significant amount of investment in our infrastructure, not just in the $10 million for roads, but also for water and for sewer, and an increasingly larger portion of our budget goes to what we call watershed management, making sure that in the second century of the life of Lake Decatur, that we're doing a lot to make sure that there's a reduction in the erosion and the sediment runoff into Lake Decatur. Because if we can't do that, then it affects water quality, and it would have the impact as well of forcing the city sometime in the future to have to go through a very expensive dredging project. And we're really kind of cutting edge. We're adopting some best management practices and other strategies for better management of the watershed that are not widely used by a lot of other municipalities, and we're sort of getting attention from the USDA and others for some of our innovative work. The proposed budget also includes funding for our public safety departments. The fire and police departments are the 2 largest departments of city government, and with the assistance of ARP money, but also some other funds as well, we're doing a lot more equipment and program outreach in those departments. The Mayor and City Council have been unflagging in their support of the police department and of our outreach in the police department and their initiatives to reduce crime. And so some of those initiatives are also incorporated into the budget. So one of the things that we do in this process of trying to make sure that the adoption of the budget is as transparent as possible is that we have already posted some weeks ago the City Manager's recommended budget to the website. We'll be making some changes later on this month, but you can take a look at that document now, and we'll be making some changes to it by the end of November, ahead of the public hearing that we will have on December 5th as a part of one of our regular City Council meetings. At the public hearing, the public is entitled to make their comments and suggestions to the City Council, which they can incorporate or not incorporate as they might choose to do. And then 2 weeks later, that would be the 19th of December, that's when final action on the city's budget to adopt it would be scheduled, so that it's fully in place by the time that the fiscal year begins on January 1. Again, it is a balanced budget and one that I think reflects the Mayor and City Council's view that we have to be very careful with the taxpayers' resources, and that the size of government not grow too much. There are only a few positions added. A lot of our departments stay at staffing because we anticipate, as many national economists and other sources have predicted, that some of the fiscal and energy decisions of the federal government are going to result in more recessionary trends in 2023. And so to the extent possible, the city's budget anticipates that and tries to make sure that we are not only good stewards of the resources that you, the taxpayers, have provided, but also that in the midst of that, we continue to provide good quality municipal services. I want to mention as well that 2023 will also include the 100th anniversary of Lake Decatur. The City of Decatur has been working with the Park District, who will celebrate their anniversary of the Park District's coming into existence in 2024, just 1 year later. And so we think here would be an opportunity to sort of merge those two celebrations, the celebration of the 100th anniversary of Lake Decatur, which was, the ribbon was cut on in July of 1923. So we're coming up on that anniversary and want to plan for it, to recognize not only all of the history that went into it. A.E. Staley, for example, was a major player, and I suspect that there would be no Lake Decatur if it wasn't for the vision and the civic participation in the project by A.E. Staley. It has meant a lot to the City of Decatur going forward. And now, as we look at the second century of Lake Decatur, we want to make sure that the efforts that the city is undertaking to make sure that we conserve the lake and treat it well during the next 100 years is done right. And so we're going to use the anniversary of the creation of Lake Decatur to highlight that history, but also to highlight some of the things that citizens will be able to see in lake improvements moving forward. And as well, assist our friends down at the Decatur Park District as they think about the celebration of their 100th anniversary, or their centennial, coming just the year after that. So some special activities for the summer. The summer is already a busy time. There's lots to do in Decatur during the summer, and this will add to some of those events both for 2023 as well as for 2024. Thanks for tuning in to this video, and I look forward to giving you more information about city activities next time.